Welcome to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show, where you get advice you can trust, from the latest real estate trends to the best mortgage rates, from curb appeal to home warranty. This is the show that will help you save and make the most money when it comes to buying or selling your most valuable asset. Now, here's your host, broker and founder of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty of Florida, Rick Kendrick.
Happy Sunday, everybody. It's Rick Kendrick with the Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty Show today. We just love the opportunity to be on the radio with you here today. If you or anyone you know are considering to make a move, we would love the opportunity to interview for the job, especially if they're looking to sell. Let me give you our number, just in case. It's 561-901-3333. So guess what? We got him back today. So Eric Rosemary with CrossCountry Mortgage is back with us to give us some updates of what's happening, and more importantly, give us some facts on what's going on in the mortgage business. What we're going to be hitting really abruptly is that our buyers ready to go ahead and make the move to make a purchase. And we hear people every day on the phone saying, hey, why don't I just wait for interest rates to drop, right? And so we know, and Eric and I have been in this business for a while, in the long run, if you wait, it doesn't pay off. So anyway, hey, Eric, how you doing?
Hey, Rick, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me back on. It's been, I think, about a month now since we last did a show together. So
yeah, buddy.
Thank you for having me back.
The last time we met, you had introduced Hometown for Heroes program, and boy, it sounds like to me from what I'm hearing, and there's probably taken off a little bit. I'm wondering, can you just kind of bring us up to date on that?
Yeah. Hometown Heroes is part of SB 102 that our Governor DeSantis put in place last year, and he expanded that program as of July 1. Program entails getting first-time homebuyers down payment assistance, 5% of the loan amount up to $35,000. You have to make under 150% of the median income in your county and buy a property under the loan limits set forth in that county by either Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac or FHA. As long as you meet those certain few criteria, you qualify for up to $35,000 in down payment assistance.
What an opportunity, not only for buyers, but sellers too, because now sellers, think about this. If they're a first-time buyer, they can get out there and buy a house and have down payment assistance. I mean, this is usually the most critical thing when they're looking to make a purchase. Sometimes they don't have sufficient money to buy the house they really want. So I'm just curious, Eric, so the last time we talked, you said when they started off, they had like $100 million of this. Now,
Yep.
Where are they now?
Yep. So they had $100 million pledged towards the assistance program, and they're down to $52 million.
Wow.
So almost half in less than 30 days.
And Eric, are you doing a lot of Hometown Heroes applications out there?
Yeah, Hometown Heroes is in full swing at CCM. We've had over 150 current buyers under contract with this program.
Wow, that's outstanding. I know we have one closing, I believe, next week. And these folks, they've been in our database for over 2 years. And when this program came about, our number one agent, Eve, came to us and said, hey, man, I can make this thing happen for them. So he brought them to you, and then you guys did your magic and made it happen, and we really appreciate that. So it sounds like it's been a great success as far as Hometown for Heroes. So, Eric, I'm just curious, are loan applications up or down for, say, the month?
So when you look at mortgage applications nationwide, for the last week of June 30th, they were down 4.4%. And that was the first decline that mortgages had in the last 30 days, and mostly because of rising mortgage rates. Applications to buy a home are also down 4.6%, and those to refinance also dropped 4.1%.
And that brings up the other subject. I mean, are interest rates nudging down, or are they going up?
They go up and down every single day, a couple times a day. But in the most part, they've been pretty flat. They say rising rates. A rate will go up 0.25% today and then be back down tomorrow.
So, Eric, you told me at one time, and correct me if I'm wrong here, like, for example, the Fed just announced a quarter point increase. Is that the same thing as a mortgage rate? It'll eventually go up a quarter point?
No, it is not. So if the Fed raises interest rates a 0.25 point, that's going to affect your credit cards, your home equity line of credit. That's all going to go up. Mortgage rates could actually drop if the Feds raise rates. Why? Because it makes Wall Street a little bit more confident that the Fed is doing what they're supposed to be doing. So mortgage rates could potentially drop because of that, going up and down. Now, is it going to be a long-term drop? No, it'll be a short-term drop for that day, and then they'll flatten out.
When you're dealing with somebody like Eric and CrossCountry Mortgage, you're dealing with somebody in the business that are here every day that can give you these facts and figures. Buyers, understand, okay, what we're saying here. The factor is that they have a down payment assistance for first-time buyers, okay? That's crucial for you. Number two is that just because the Fed raises it a quarter point doesn't necessarily mean that your interest rate on your loan is going to go up. So, these are the things I'd like to get into a little bit more when we get to the next segment. So after the break, we're going to be talking more about what's going on in the mortgage business, more importantly, how the interest rates, and plus talk to Eric a little bit about the loan process and how crucial that loan process is in getting the seller to sign on the deal. So this is Rick Kendrick with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty Show. We'll be right back.
To schedule an appointment with Rick Kendrick to help you buy or sell your home, call 561-901-3333 or go to rickhasthebuyers.com. Rick will be right back with more of the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show here on News Talk 850 WFTL.
Hi, I'm Eric Rosemary, branch manager at CrossCountry Mortgage in Boca Raton. If you're deciding which lender to trust, whether you're purchasing or refinancing, I would love the opportunity to work with you. Over my 20-year career, I've helped close to 10,000 families buy or refinance the place they call home. Despite what you're hearing about interest rates, you might be surprised at what we can do for you. Let's talk. Call or text me at 954-312-3104 or visit rosemarymortgageteam.com.
So you're thinking of selling your home? Call my friend Rick Kendrick from Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty of Florida. Hi, it's Jennifer. On average, Rick gets home sellers 5% more than the average agent. So that means on a $500,000 home, you're going to put an extra $25,000 in your pocket. Rick is so confident in his marketing system to attract the right buyer for your home that he guarantees to sell your home at a price and a timeline that you all agree to, or he'll buy your home for cash. Maybe you've considered taking advantage of the rise in the home prices, taking all that equity you've built up over the years to buy your dream home? Kanisha did just that a few years ago. Rick helped her buy her first home, a townhouse in West Palm. Sensing it could be a good time to cash out, she called Rick. He was able to sell her townhome for $5,000 over asking price and over 2 times what she paid for it. Now she's using that money to buy a brand new home in Port St. Lucie. So if you need to sell or you need to buy, call my friend Rick Kendrick, 561-901-3333 or visit rickhasthebuyers.com.
Hi, I'm Charisma Steva, Director of Operations and Licensed Closing Agent with Performance Title, your trusted partner in Florida. When the conversation with your realtor or mortgage broker turns to title insurance, make sure you ask for Performance Title. With over 17 years experience, we've become a dedicated member of our community and a valuable resource to our clients. Join the Performance Title family today. Call me at 954-748-4890 or visit us online at performtitle.com. That's performtitle.com.
If you're ready to buy or sell your home and would like to schedule an appointment with Rick, call 561-901-3333 or go to rickhasthebuyers.com. Now, back to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show and your host, Rick Kendrick.
Hey, welcome back from the break. In this segment, we're going to be talking about, in particular, the loan process. I think that's really crucial. But before I do that, I just got a text from somebody. It says, hey, listen, this Hometown for Heroes program sounds really cool. Can you kind of just qualify, Eric, what that first-time buyer is exactly?
So yes, there's lots of misconceptions floating out there of what is considered or who is considered a first-time home buyer by the program guidelines. Any person who has not lived in a home that they have owned in the past 3 years is a first-time home buyer. So if you live and rent an apartment in New York and you're moving to Florida, but you own an investment property somewhere, you qualify as a first-time home buyer. If you live in a house that you're on title to because your parents own it, your aunt, your uncle, whoever, if you're on title and you live there, you're no longer a first-time home buyer. So a first-time home buyer is somebody who has not lived in a home that they have owned in the last 3 years.
A lot of buyers come to me and they go, Rick, do I qualify for the first-time home buyer program, Hometown for Heroes? And I go, listen, here's the best thing I'm going to do for you right now. I'm going to give you Eric's telephone number and his email address, and you're going to either email him or even text him and see if you can set up a time or even ask him if you qualify. So how do they get in touch with you to get that information if they qualify as a first-time buyer?
Well, they can call me anytime at 954-312-3104. Again, 954-312-3104.
Great. Okay. So, Eric, you know as well as I do, sellers will not let you look at their home unless they've been pre-approved for a loan. Is that right, Eric?
Correct.
Yeah. So the very first step, even before we meet, you need to call your lender. The preferred lender that we use is CrossCountry Mortgage. Eric, when they do an application, can they do it by phone or online, or do they got to actually come into your office and do it?
They can do it any of those three ways. I can send them an online application. They can get that at www.rosemarymortgageteam.com. They can call me. We can do the application over the phone, or they can come into the office and we can do the application. My office is in Central Boca off of Palmetto Park Road.
How long does that take usually, Eric, to do that process?
If I talk to somebody over the phone, I'm usually done with them within 30 minutes, unless they're self-employed and they got multiple properties and things like that.
I see. Does it involve a lot of documents that are needed so you can get them pre-approved?
A lot of times I'm able to pull verifications right then and there that give me the breakdown of their income and give me access to their bank accounts. So I'm able to get read-only copies of their bank statements, a verification of employment that'll give me their income breakdown if they work for a company that subscribes to that. So I'm usually able to pre-approve them, not pre-qualify them, pre-approve them right there on the spot because I have the documents I need.
We meet with a buyer, and for some reason on Thursday he doesn't have a pre-approval or anything from a lender saying that he's approved for a certain amount. And we want to go out and show him property Friday. If he provides you all the documents, can we get him out there by Saturday morning looking at properties?
You can get them out there by Friday night.
Friday night. That's miraculous. Sellers, understand what Eric said. We do not pre-qualify them. We pre-approve them, okay? That's what he does. And so, sellers, whenever you're looking and you're talking to an agent and you're interviewing an agent, ask them this. Do you make sure they have a pre-approval letter or a pre-qualification letter? That's one critical question as a seller I think you need to ask. Just that as a little side note there, because I think right now a lot of people are making offers on pre-qualification letters. It does not work. A question that a buyer asked me, I don't want to run a credit check. Is that a hard or a soft check? What does that all mean?
So there's two kinds of credit verifications. A soft credit pull, which does not ding their credit, does not go on their credit report. We're able to run it through our automatic underwriting system with that soft credit pull. And we're able to see their trade lines and liabilities and credit scores and everything as a normal credit report. Then there's the hard credit pull, which counts on your credit report as an inquiry, and that does all the same things as well. Those type of reports we need to submit to underwriting to get underwritten and to close a loan. So we eventually will have to do a hard credit pull once they get under contract, or we submit them to our fast track program.
Eric, I got another question for you. Here's the crazy one. You know, when I pull up online, I look at my FICO score.
Yeah.
Is that the same thing as you get on a credit score?
No. There's many different scoring models, and there's scoring models that you see for Credit Karma, your credit cards, and then there's scoring models for mortgages. Same thing with auto loans. So there are different scales that they use from ranges of credit scores, also different analytics that goes into it. So we pull a mortgage credit report.
Gotcha. The unique thing about CrossCountry Mortgage, which I really dearly love, in our standardized as-is sales contract, they have already written in there that a loan commitment will be 30 days.
We can close in 21 days. We can give you a loan commitment in less than 7 to 10 days. Really just waiting on the appraisal to come back, and we can also rush that appraisal. We can get appraisal done in 4 days if we wanted to and pay for the rush. So our typical loan commitment, 7 to 10 days. So when we tighten up that contract to make it look really appealing to a seller to compete with a cash offer, we will put their loan through our fast track program, which is a fully underwritten program before you actually identify a property. Give you a certificate that says we'll close on time, or we'll give the seller $5,000.
Wow.
We've already gone through underwriting. We'll shorten the commitment period up to 7 to 10 days while we wait for the appraisal to come back. And then we can close as little as 15 to 21. We guarantee 21 days, or you'll get $5,000 if the buyer has been through the fast track program.
Wow.
Obviously, there's some restrictions with that. Condominiums excluded and government loans excluded.
That's very, very, very strong. Eric, a lot of listing agents now are asking for desktop underwriting reports. Should we be providing that to the sellers?
So a desktop underwriting document is the automated system by Fannie Mae that either tells us somebody is approved and meets their guidelines, or they're not. And that gives all the borrowers personal information, from credit scores to debt-to-income ratios. It tells our underwriter and the loan officer and our processors what items we need to close. Do we need a verification of employment? Do we need pay stubs? Do we need W-2s? Do we need to pay off collections or charge-offs? It tells us how to do our job. And a lot of times, realtors ask to have this document with the offer. That's no different than asking for a credit report. And it is illegal to give that out. A lot of people don't know that.
Gotcha. That's good to know, because the aspect of providing too much information can be just as bad.
You don't want to provide everything about your borrower, because for what a listing agent needs to know is they are approved, and they're approved with a reputable company. And with our fast track program, we give them a certificate that says they've been through underwriting, regardless of what DU says. They've been through underwriting, and we gave our stamp of approval that we're going to close the loan as long as we have 3 items: appraisal, title, and insurance.
And here's the thing. What's so great about CrossCountry Mortgage and Eric is a lot of lenders will not take that extra step and call the listing agent or call the seller with the approval of the listing agent.
Don't give up our secrets. This is what we do. We call the listing agent. Why? Because we want to tell them how solid our borrower is. But I want to get that listing agent's business. So I'm going to do everything I can to please them. And calling the seller, well, what are they doing? They're selling their house. They're buying another one. That's my opportunity to get another client in my door. So I'm going to, again, do everything I can to please them, to make them happy, make them feel all warm inside that this is going to go through, and that the one major thing that every realtor and seller is looking for, they're going to get that: communication.
Eric, when is the best time to lock a loan?
When is the best time to buy Apple stock? You really don't know. What I tell my clients is when we get that contract in, we put your file together, you lock it then, right? Because as long as you're happy with where that payment is, that's all that matters. If you wait a week or 2 weeks to lock, your payment may not be where it matters. The rate is nothing. The rate is something you brag about to your friends, and ain't nobody bragging about their rates that they're getting right now. The payment is what is important. That's what makes you comfortable, makes you sleep at night. So if you're happy with it, you lock the loan in once you get the contract. If by chance interest rates drop before you close, we have a float down policy. We allow you to float down your rate. If rates drop, we're able to give you that lower rate. There's a small cost involved, but it's all factored into the interest rate. So you have that ability to do that. So it's the best of both worlds. But waiting to see if rates drop, you could be sorely mistaken, and they could rise on you, and they could rise fast, and it could cost you the house.
You just never know. And that's the reason why you have a mortgage lender who's in this business watch these rates every day, because they're looking out for your behalf through this process. Mm-hmm. And Eric, I've heard this term, and I don't understand it, but maybe you can explain the phrase, date the rate, marry the house. What does that mean?
The house is permanent. The rate is temporary. Not saying that it's an adjustable rate. It's a 30-year fix. Most people get. I mean, you can get it adjustable. But we all know where the market is right now. Rates are high. We're trying to combat inflation. They're raising rates to do that. Once rates settle, you'll have the opportunity to refinance. CrossCountry has a program that we're giving out to everybody that closes with us, and that is our Buy Now, Refinance Later program, where we'll give you a zero lender cost refinance. We won't charge you any processing fees, any underwriting fees. You're buying the house, you're locking in the price now when prices are essentially good, and you'll refinance later. Just remember, property values are still going up in this high interest rate market at a rate of 5 to 10%, especially in South Florida.
We're living in paradise.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. You can't change that. Without a doubt, we live in an area where there's a high demand for homes. We have over 20,000 buyers in our database right now that are looking for a home. So sellers, just to let you know, if you are entertaining the idea or thinking about maybe selling your place or would like a free market appraisal, you can contact me at 561-901-3333 or rickhasthebuyers.com. So after the break here, we're going to get into the details of the do's and don'ts of making a loan application, things that you want to watch out for. This is Rick Kendrick with your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty Show. We'll be right back.
To schedule an appointment with Rick Kendrick to help you buy or sell your home, call 561-901-3333 or go to rickhasthebuyers.com. Rick will be right back with more of the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show here on News Talk 850 WFTL.
Hi, it's Jennifer Ross, and if you've been thinking about selling your home, you already know that the only agent that I would recommend to you is my friend Rick Kendrick. He's a broker and founder of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty of Florida. Now, what about the listener who would love Rick to sell but doesn't want to deal with the headaches of cleaning, staging, holding open houses, and all that other stuff?
Well, Jen, we have the perfect solution. First of all, we always like to make our traditional home selling process stress-free, but for the listener who doesn't want to fix up their place, who has inherited a home, or simply wants a fast, hassle-free sale, we can make them an immediate cash offer. And for that seller to get the most amount of money for their home.
Come on, you can do that.
Absolutely, Jen. We'll come right over, appraise a home, make you a fast, fair cash offer, and close as little as 3 weeks.
Cash in your hand, hard to beat it. Call Rick Kendrick right now, 561-901-3333. That's 561-901-3333. Or visit rickhasthebuyers.com.
Hi, I'm Charisma Stava, Director of Operations and Licensed Closing Agent with Performance Title, your trusted partner in Florida. When the conversation with your realtor or mortgage broker turns to title insurance, make sure you ask for Performance Title. With over 17 years experience, we've become a dedicated member of our community and a valuable resource to our clients. Join the Performance Title family today. Call me at 954-748-4890 or visit us online at performtitle.com. That's performtitle.com.
Hi, I'm Eric Rosemary, branch manager at CrossCountry Mortgage in Boca Raton. If you're deciding which lender to trust, whether you're purchasing or refinancing, I would love the opportunity to work with you. Over my 20-year career, I've helped close to 10,000 families buy or refinance the place they call home. Despite what you're hearing about interest rates, you might be surprised at what we can do for you. Let's talk. Call or text me at 954-312-3104 or visit rosemarymortgageteam.com.
If you're ready to buy or sell your home and would like to schedule an appointment with Rick, call 561-901-3333 or go to rickhasthebuyers.com. Now, back to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show and your host, Rick Kendrick.
Welcome back from the break. We had went through the loan process and then got some details of particular things like credit checks and desktop underwriting. But more importantly now, Eric, what we want to get into is probably the do's and don'ts in getting a loan. What are some of the things that they should look for, what things they should avoid?
Well, a lot of times, Rick, they always tell you, hey, I don't want to talk to the mortgage guy until I'm under contract. Well, we both just went over that. That's not going to happen. You're not going to get into a seller's house. They're not going to accept an offer without having a pre-approval letter at minimum. But they should call us in advance to go over their loan application, to review their credit, to see where they stand in the loan application process. We have clients that are going to close in a month, 6 months, a year, 2 years. I don't mind. Let's get them in. We'll go over everything and see where they stand, because a lot of things can affect what they get approved for or if they get approved at all.
So I've heard this agent said that the buyer, they made application, got approved, and was showing houses, and the next day she drove up in a nice, beautiful convertible. Is that an issue?
Of course. I just heard of a story. A guy was out looking for a house, went and bought a Lamborghini. Now it doesn't qualify. Taking on new debt, this is all going to affect what's called your debt-to-income ratio. That translates into how much you qualify for a home. So keeping your debts at a minimum until after you close. But a lot of times I'll get customers that, I just bought a car, can I buy a house? Didn't say you can't buy a house if you just bought a new car, but that payment is going to go into your debt-to-income ratio. So hold out on the new Porsche. Hold out on the new Audi. Let me get you into your house first, because you can't live in your car.
You've told us if some buyers, their loan approval is very tricky, and we're touching the edge of their loan amount, and it's all a variable of what? Their taxes, their HOAs, and their insurance. Is that right?
Yeah, so what we call the PITIA, principal, interest, taxes, insurance, and association dues. These are all that make up your total housing expense, and that also translates into a loan amount. So every property is going to be different. Every qualification is going to be different. And in Florida, we have and this is another topic for another day, serious insurance issues here, where insurance could be $2,000 a year, or it could be $10,000 a year for a house. So that really plays a big factor into what they qualify for.
You've always told me, Rick, before you write that offer, send me the MLS sheet. Let me look at the taxes. Let me look at the HOA fees. Let me look at the insurance costs on this to make sure this deal goes through. A lot of lenders will not do that. What you've done is you've taken the buyer in, you've gotten them excited, you're going to potentially write an offer, And what happens if the HOAs are too high or the insurance is too high? They won't qualify.
Or interest rates went up over the last week.
Yeah.
So I check current rates. I'll check the property address against the other programs that are out there that may qualify specific properties to lower rates. We'll get a quote on insurance. We'll look at the age of the roof. My insurance agent that I work with will pull any previous permits and get a really good rough idea of where the insurance is going to be. And then I'll look at the taxes, current taxes. We go off current taxes. We'll look at the HOA dues. And if it's a condominium, then we look at how solvent that condo is. So you got to run the properties by your loan officer. If you're not doing that, you're doing it wrong. And one day it will come back and bite you.
It's crucial to know this information as soon as possible because you need to put an offer in because somebody else could be putting an offer in before that. So I say to you, before you put that offer in, what you ought to be doing is talking to your lender to make sure all those numbers match up to what you're going to be able to do and get pre-approved.
Yep, that's why I have somebody always available 7 days a week, Monday through Sunday from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. to make sure that they can run those numbers for you.
How can they get a hold of you, Eric?
954-312-3104, or they can also email me at eric.rosemary@ccm.com.
So we're going to get right into our feature listing of the week. This one just came on the market. Actually, I'm going to talk about a couple of them, quite frankly, okay? But the one I'm really in particular about is a new one that just came on the market. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, first floor unit overlooking Singer Island, $530,000 in North Palm Beach. This one will not last long. So I would say to you, you really need to jump on this. I have a buyer looking in that $500,000 to $700,000 range in Loxahatchee and Westlake area. He only really needs about 2,000 square feet. He's got 20% to put down. So if you are entertaining the idea of putting your place on the market, I'd love to come out and take a look at it. I can give you a free market evaluation. If this meets his criteria, I'd be happy to help him out and show him your property. And then finally, I'd like to talk about our Go Serve Big mission. We are actively involved in charitable organizations. One of our charities is Little Smiles. These are kids who are bedridden in hospitals, and we provide not only services to them, but also toys and things like that, entertainment for them. Every time we close a transaction, we donate a portion of our proceeds to Little Smiles and also to the Law Enforcement Assistance Foundation, which is LEAF. So if you are a listener and you or anyone you know, friends, family, coworkers, neighbors are concerning to make a move, we'd love to work with them. This is Rick Kendrick with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, serving the southeast coast of Florida. Our network extends all across the country and Canada. You can call me or text me at 561-901-3333. Again, I'd like to thank my special guest, Eric Rosemary. He can be reached at
954-312-3104.
We look forward to hearing from you, seeing you next week. Tune in every Sunday at 10 a.m. This is Rick Kendrick, Your Home Sold Guarantee Realty at 850 WFTL News Talk.
You've been listening to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show with broker owner Rick Kendrick. Heard every Sunday morning here on News Talk 850 WFTL. Rick's company name is his promise, Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. To speak directly to Rick about buying or selling your home, call now to schedule an appointment, 561-901-3333. Or visit rickhasthebuyers.com. And mark your calendar to join Rick again next week at the same time for the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show here on News Talk 850 WFTL.